then 117 is next, and then 086.
Well, thanks for coming today. Appreciate you coming to our community. Well, Holly, I'm a local woodworker in the area. Thanks for the work that you and the other members of the party have done, but I'd like to still see you guys grow a little more of a spine and standing up to some of these folks on the other side. And I'd suggest to all of us here that we start dealing with causes and not symptoms of problems. The issue here of immigration has been brought up, and we really have to be watchful for the causes of these problems. The cause of immigration problems are disastrous trade policies for the last 30 years. So I just throw that out for consideration. Thank you.
Thank you. It's Will. Thank you. One of the things we found with the North American Free Trade Agreement, NAFTA, is that subsistence farmers in Mexico who live basically on producing chickens and corn had those two economies collapse, and they therefore left village Mexico, and a lot of them ended up basically without any way of supporting themselves, and it helped generate a huge flood of folks trying to get into the United States. And I think that's probably what you're referring to? Okay, thank you.
Well, you ship the jobs to Mexico, then eventually leave Mexico and go to the Philippines or China or somewhere else. It's all about the money, and it's leaving American workers in the cold.
So let me expand on this issue of trade. Trade done right is a powerful instrument. We do what we do best, they do what they do best, and we trade, and everybody's better off, more employment and more goods. I've really been focusing on the problems in our trade with China, because it is a much bigger dynamic for us than the trade with Mexico. And what is going on in our trade with China is that China has a four-tier industrial policy designed to create jobs and take jobs out of the U.S. And it works like this. First, they have low labor and environmental standards. Well, we're all aware of that. But the second tier is that they have a pegged currency where they fix the rate between their currency and our currency, and they do that at a level that makes their currency very cheap and ours very expensive. Am I causing a feedback as I'm getting into the speaker? How about over here? It's better. And so this operates as a tariff on American-made goods, and it operates as a subsidy for Chinese-made goods. And then they have a system of direct subsidies to the manufacturing sector that are illegal under the WTO, under the World Trade Organization they're part of. They're not allowed to subsidize items for export. They're absolutely running over the top of this. So late last year, I put forward a bill that said our trade representative would publish the Chinese subsidies as allowed under the WTO. And within 2 weeks, our trade representative, even though my bill didn't get considered on the floor, just by drawing attention to it, our trade representative published 200 subsidies that China is doing. And if you read those subsidies, you see a famous brand strategy, you see a paper strategy, you see a renewable energy strategy. And so they are directly subsidizing in a way that allows them to then sell their products in the U.S. below cost. And that wipes out manufacturing in America. And the fourth tier of their strategy is basically to require financial partnerships for people doing business in China that allow then the Chinese partner to gain the technology transfer. And often, after a short period of time, they take that technology, shut down the partnership, and basically steal the intellectual property. And you can talk to someone like the president of Cisco. Both their software and their hardware for their servers was completely stolen. And I was really surprised when I went on this delegation to China. We had a meeting with the U.S. Chamber of Commerce in China. And in the past, our American companies have always been very reluctant to complain because they don't want to get kicked out. And in this case, company after company after company stood up and told us the horror stories they're going through, because they've now been there 10, 20, 25 years saying, we're going to be quiet, we're going to behave, we're going to work, and they're still being treated in a way that deprives them of a fair chance to do business. Caterpillar, for example, was told, go east, go big, or get out. And that was the words that the person used to describe it. Go east, meaning Caterpillar couldn't build their facilities on the western seaboard where the infrastructure is. Go big meaning they couldn't build tractors that competed with the Chinese-made tractors. They had to build the ones that were larger than the Chinese tractors. And get out explains itself. We have lost 5 million manufacturing jobs in 10 years. We've lost 50,000 factories. This is eviscerating. It's tearing the heart out of the working class in our country. And we've got to have a national conversation about this, and we've got to have a national debate, because if we sit back and say, wait, we don't want to raise any wrinkles in the relationship, we aren't going to have a manufacturing job left in this country, and we're not going to have a middle class left. So we've got to carry this.